Now, hire purchase, as the name sound, hire purchase, that is, it will start with hiring and ends with what? Purchase. So it is clear that it is two transactions in one. So take for instance, somebody hires a car, and at the end of the lease period, so to say, the item will be sold to him. So they call it hire purchase, or at times they say lease to own. Lease to own, that is, it will be owned after the end of the lease period. Now these are two transactions. It will be permissible if they are not tied together. Take for instance, I rent this particular thing from you, and during the rent period you treat me as somebody who has rented it from you. When you want to sell it to me, we'll sit down again and talk about that. Not that from inception I will tell you that, or you will tell me that this thing I'm renting it out to you, but after so and so period I'm going to sell it to you, or after so and so period I sell it to you. Then we enter into agreement from inception. I don't know if the example is clear. This item, take for instance a Marwa, for instance, this tricycle. So I say I rent it to you, I hire it out. Then after 2 years, for instance, I sell it to you. Then we see the contract from inception. Meaning immediately after 2 years, you will pay an amount of money to own it. So we sign it from that time. So what you have done is what? Two transactions in one, which is not permissible. Which is not permissible. Now when you rent out something, we used to take care of the maintenance, the major maintenance, the landlord. When you sell something to somebody who is to take care of the major maintenance, the buyer. So how can you combine the two together on an item? You are treating the person as the owner, at the same time you are treating the person as a lessee, somebody who has rented it from you, and you are still treating the person as what? The owner. So those who do this, they don't want to incur any loss. That's why they block it. Because they've seen that when you rent out something, some of the people that come to rent something from you, they mismanage it. They misuse it. Why? Because they are not the owner. So some feel that, okay, let us treat you as the owner. Once you know that you are paying for this thing, you will not misuse it. But at the same time, he does not want to release the ownership to the person until after 2 years. So Islam says you can't combine the two. You may promise the person, if you pay the rent for so and so period, after that I may sell it to you. Meaning, if he pays up to that, the rent up to that period, if you say you are not selling, you have not cheated him. You have not cheated him, because what you say is I may. It's not something that I've imposed on myself from inception. So if what is there is I may, not that you have said it is binding on you to sell, then there is no harm in it. But if it's what something that is binding, then it is what? It is prohibited. Wallahu alam. If the marwa is 1.4 from inception, and you sell it to the person from inception, and the person is paying in installments, so that is what is Bay'ul Ajal or Bay'ul Taqsit. Bay'ul Ajal, that is what is called Bay'ul Ajal is that the item is available. The item is available. but the buyer does not have the money to pay cash. He doesn't have the money to pay cash. So he's going to pay later. This is permissible in the Sharia. Can you add more money? That is what we say Sheikh Al-Albani does not support. The fact that the person is going to pay later to the Sheikh, that does not justify adding more money to it. But most scholars, they believe there is nothing wrong with that. Whether the person is going to pay in installments or is going to pay cash later, there is no difference. So that is called Be'ul Ajal, stroke Be'u at Teksit. It's called Teksit if you are paying in installments. It's called Ajal because you are going to pay later. But somebody comes to you for the marwa and you say you are renting out the marwa to him. Every day you will pay 2,000 naira every day. This you will be paying for a period of 2 years every day. It's rent. It's not sale. It's rent. So at the end of the 2 years, if you say, give me my marwa, the person cannot tell you that it is my own. And he can't tell you, you have to sell it to me. Because you don't have the agreement of selling at the inception. And we say it is even wrong to have that agreement of selling from inception. Because if you have that agreement of selling plus rent from inception, you have concluded two transactions in one that are not what combinable. Because when you rent something, the maintenance, the major maintenance of that thing is on you. When you sell something, the major maintenance is on the buyer. So how can you bring the two together? Then, at the end of the lease period, if you have concluded from inception that the person must buy it, what if the marwa has depreciated seriously at the end of the lease period, and you have already collected, you have already agreed that the person is going to buy it with a money or with a price agreed upon from inception? So this will be dhulm. Let me do this clarification. You see, we mix up things. According to the Oxford American Dictionary, they said hire purchase. They said hire purchase, a system by which one pays for a thing in regular installments while having the use of it. A system by which one pays for a thing in regular installments while having the use of it. No, they didn't talk about rent now. Well, I'm coming. So then they put installment plan. So installment plan, this is what in North America they say an arrangement for payment by installments. They said in British it is called what? British term, it is called hire purchase. So hire purchase and installment plan, they are the same. So what they call hire purchase, according to this now, is you are buying. The word hire here is just like meaningless. But you are buying that thing, you are going to pay in installments. But when the scholars are talking about hire purchase, they are looking at the word hire purchase. Or they say what? Lease to own. Rent to own. That is the one you are talking about. And that is the one I explained earlier. So if the person fails to watch, if the person fails to pay, they take away the item from him. And the major maintenance of that thing is also transferred on the person. So meaning you are treating the person as a buyer. You are treating the person as a buyer. At the same time, you are not transferring the ownership of that thing to him. So you have to take one. Do you want to rent the item out that the person will be paying you the rent, or you want to sell it to him? Choose one out of the two. But for you to combine the two, to say the person you watch will be paying, you are renting it to the person, so that you can take it away from the person when you see any issue. And at the same time, you are treating the person as if he's the owner of that thing. You'll be the one to do the major maintenance. So this in Islam does not go. But when you look at it from this angle of saying somebody will be paying installments, one may say what? It is permissible. And that's why there is a difference between Bay'ul Ajal and what? Bay'ul Ajal, Bay'ul Taxit. They may be the same thing. Only that the person is paying installments. And what they call At-Ta'jiru Al-Muntahi Bit-Tamlik. At-Ta'jir, Ta'jir means lease. Al-Muntahi Bit-Tamlik, that ends with ownership. Meaning presently it is not your own, but it will be your own later. But you have to sign the agreement from inception. Meaning we'll be treating you as if you are the owner, and we will also be treating you as if you are a lessee. So this cannot go in Islam. You take one out of the two. So at-tajir al-muntahi bit-tamlik is what is haram, except if it is just ordinary promise that as you are paying this rent, so after 2 years it may be yours. After 2 years I may give it to you. You see it? So it's just an ordinary promise. That does not mean that at the end of it all automatically it goes to you. No. I hope this is clear.
The Guidance Facebook page. Follow, like, and share.